There is always a pattern. Beneath the pattern, psychology, energy, spirit, truth. Talk with Anne and Spirit.
Yesterday, in a session with a client, she said, sorry, not to me, to Atlantis. Unprompted, in the middle of a mentorship session, this woman apologised to a civilization that most people think is a myth. Now, I didn't tell her about my own Atlantis material. She didn't know I'd been sitting with the exact same thread for months. Probably years actually. And that's the moment that I knew Series 2 had to start here. So this episode is The Water Within, and we're going deep. Talk with Anne and Spirit is back, and this is not just another spiritual and psychological podcast. This is where we look at the pattern beneath the pattern, where psychology meets spirituality, energy meets strategy, and your soul gets to tell the truth. We're going past surface healing, recycled manifestation advice, and spirituality that asks you to bypass your humanity. We'll talk about the body, business, relationships, awakening, consciousness, ancient wisdom, love that, and the parts of ourselves we've been taught to hide. Extraordinary guests, real oracle sessions, maybe some uncomfortable truths, conversations that might change how you see yourself. I'm Anne Varney, and this is Talk with Anne and Spirit Series 2. Let's remember the magic within. 10. I said to myself out loud yesterday, I've not had any awards for a while, because I always get these awards that just come out of no place. I thought, I've not had any awards for a while. 4 a.m. this morning, I wake up to my phone lit up, DMs, emails, all of it nominated. Multiple categories, multiple platforms, all landing in one pile while I was asleep. And I'm not going to tell you that the universe hands out awards because you asked nicely. What I will say is this. My attention moved towards acknowledgement, and acknowledgement showed up. Make of that what you want. I make something of it. Definitely. Synchronicity. And while I was literally piecing this episode together, I thought to myself, I need to send another client her spiritual guidance, ask for her question. The exact moment that I thought it, my phone buzzed, it was her giving me her question. And I'm not going to pretend I understand the mechanics of it. I just know it keeps happening in different rooms with different people, close enough together that I've stopped calling it coincidence and started calling it data. And I'm doing this live. My phone is going to doolally, and it's other people are nominating me for these awards. It's mad. It's absolutely mad. Here, I just thought it yesterday. Now, here's what most people don't know. I had did a medbed session with the Sirius. It's something that I teach to my Oracle Code practitioners. And in that medbed session, there was a green man. I know you'll think, oh, she's off her rocker. She's losing it. But stay with me for a wee minute. The Palladian and the Syrian energy in the medbed session, I haven't even thought about it for God knows how long. And this client sits down, hands it back to me from a completely different angle. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you Atlantis was definitely a lost continent full of crystal technology. I don't know that. What I do know is that two people in two separate rooms on two separate days both landed on the same word without either of us planting it. Now, that's not proof of history. That's a signal worth paying attention to. Now, what is it that keeps surfacing through people around me? And what does an apology to a myth actually tell us about the water that we're carrying? I sent her the Google Doc that had everything written down, no explanation, just told her to notice what it had to do with her own session. Her reply came back within hours. Holy fuck was the word she used, pardon my French. Her mind was connecting one thing to another, and then out of nowhere, she asked me if creation was next because I'd been downloaded with this Creation 7. We will be talking about that in this podcast on other episodes. Then she said something I wasn't expecting. She said that Sikkim finally made sense to her. Something that she's getting accredited for in the Spiritual Awakening Academy. It suddenly made sense. It had a language. Now, here's what I haven't told you yet. This client and I are deep in mentorship work right now, and the thread running through all of it is visibility, her voice, being seen. That's the real work underneath the symbolism. So when she says sorry to Atlantis in a session from a meditation that she had months and months ago that she completely forgot about, and then she reads a document about a civilization that supposedly silenced its own wisdom keepers, and then tells me those connections are appearing. And Sikkim finally makes sense. And I'm not interested whether Atlantis was real. I'm really, but not for this episode. I'm interested in the fact that her own body handed her the exact metaphor her voice needed to find its way back. Now, I don't think Atlantis proved anything to her. Maybe it did. Maybe it did quite a bit, actually. I think her nervous system used the story also that was already sitting in the room with her to say something true it couldn't say directly yet. Because let's be honest, your body is mostly water. So is mine. My daily practice this morning showed me in my body the water that I saw wasn't clean. I was seeing the toxic distortions from Dr. Emoto. If you don't know who he is, look him up. He was a scientist who studied the effects of words, feelings on water. And I seen that it was distorted. In fact, most of our body's water is distorted. So I want you to sit with a few questions with me right now. Not later, just right now. Because I'm asking these questions myself. What are you putting into your body? What are you putting into your mind? What emotion have you been carrying so long that you've stopped noticing the weight of it? And if every thought you had today left a ripple in the water inside of you, what would that water look like by tonight? So sorry to Atlantis might be a client's language for something much simpler. Sorry for what I let sit in my own water for too long. When I was talking about toxicity in my daily practice, my body went so hot, full sweat on, so it did. And the second that I hit clarity, it stopped. That's not woo. That's a nervous system telling the truth faster than my mouth could. So here's what I actually think blocks people, not the universe, not misalignment. A nervous system that has never once felt safe enough to hold what it says that it wants. And you can say the affirmation every morning. Yeah? But if your body doesn't believe it's safe to receive it, it won't let it land. It just won't. And maybe that's what an apology to Atlantis really is. A nervous system finally admitting it's been braced for collapse. Even a collapse that happened, if it happened at all, thousands of years before either of us were even born. And in the middle of all this, one line came through clean. What if I gave the oracle code, my undivided attention. Just that one thing fully until September. And what happened next was my mind immediately wandered off somewhere else, straight away. New ideas, different direction, anywhere but here. That's not a flaw. That's what a mind does the second that you actually commit to one thing. It goes looking for an exit because focus is unfamiliar, not because focus is wrong. So if you ever set one clear intention and felt your brain scatter 5 minutes later, you're not broken. You're just meeting the same resistance I met yesterday in real time on a recording. True, yeah? Now, before you go, give me 60 seconds wherever you are. Just take one long, deep breath, longer than you think that you need. And just picture your body as a vessel of water. Not perfect, not polluted, just honest. Whatever state it's actually in right now. And just ask yourself 3 things. What thought have I been pouring into this water on repeat? What emotion have I been stirring that doesn't need stirring today? Just connect. And what is one thing, just one, I could choose to clear this week? You don't need to answer it right now. You just need to have asked. Because we spend so much energy trying to change the world in front of us. And sometimes the loudest transformation starts in the water nobody can see, yours included. So sorry to Atlantis if it happened, and sorry to yourself if it didn't. Either way, the water's listening. And this has been Series 2, Episode 1. We're going deep this season. Stay with me. Let me know in the comments what you would like to listen to next. And if you would also, you have a voice that you other people want to hear or need to hear, get in touch. Let's chat.
You've seen the pattern. Now choose what happens next. This was Talk with Anne and Spirit. Remember the magic within.